Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. I'm so glad you decided to stop by. Today we're going to be discussing the energy that will be prominent beginning today, June 14th, and continuing through the week. We have made it through eclipse season, and although that energy will be prominent for the next 6 months until the next eclipse season kicks in, which is in November. So lots of lessons learned, lots of internal work that has happened, certainly for myself, but others that I know have gone through some interesting transformations, all for the better, that's for certain. Today, we are recognizing the second of 3 Saturn squares squaring Uranus. And we've talked about this before, this dichotomy of freedom versus restriction, truth versus deception. And to be honest, because we're moving closer and closer and closer towards that 5-dimensional reality and trying to stay away from the 3-dimensional reality, I'm going to be focusing on the 5-dimensional aspects of that versus dwelling on the 3D side of things. Yes, it's important for us to note that on a collective level, we can see what's happening in the world. We can see the frustration with people and their freedoms and the restrictions that have come along with that. But I really don't want to focus on that energy. I want to focus on the 5-dimensional aspect of that, what we can do with that energy to empower ourselves further before the third and final exact square happens later in December of this year. Again, that energy is prominent, it's underlying, it doesn't just hit and then go away, it's just more stronger on these days. So again, we talked about the freedom versus restriction and deception versus truth. What does that mean to me? If I want to focus on 5-dimensional energy, what should I be using this energy? How could I be using this energy to further my 5-dimensional understanding? So practice resilience, stay in your power. Don't let the outworkings or the collective or things that you see in the world get you down. Stand with your 5-dimensional knowing. Recognize and appreciate your reality. I don't know if you can hear these birds in the background, but that's pretty amazing to me. Yep, it's the energy today can be very volatile, but not where I'm at. I'm listening to this bird. I'm in this beautiful environment. That's what I'm choosing to focus on. I'm going to own my ability to be happy by working through restrictions and understanding that some of those restrictions are in place for my greater good. Instead of fighting against them, I'm going to use them to my advantage. Also, I will be celebrating any sacrifices that I have made, some recently, some since this, the prior square, which was back in February. What sacrifices I have made that have allowed me to more balance out my life, to be able to come more aligned with that 5-dimensional reality. I'm healing cycles. I am making sure that I'm putting effort in the 5-dimensional reality that we're all headed towards. And I'm choosing to be happy. If there's a restriction in place, I'm understanding that that restriction that is there for purpose. I dig a little deep, I found out what the purpose is, and then I'm going to integrate that into my life and then choose to be happy because of it. So even though there's a dichotomy of sorts, even though the outward manifestation for the collective can seem a bit difficult or trying or chaotic, I personally don't have to jump into that chaos. I'm not being unaware that it's occurring. I'm just making a conscious effort to align with my greater good, which is 5-dimensional reality. Now, we do have some other aspects this week. However, that's the biggest one. So make sure when it comes to choices, align with 5-dimensional reality. Give yourself a pat on the back. We've all overcome some pretty significant challenges in the past year. Excuse me, and we've learned a lot of lessons in the process. Self-love. pat yourself on the back. Be thankful for what you have, and choose to be happy, regardless of the restriction, regardless of any deception that may be out there. Align with the truth, align with your truth, and be authentic in the process. Now, next week, we have the summer solstice, and then Jupiter joins the other planets that are retrograde. We spoke a little bit about this in the last video, and I thought a little bit more about this retrograde cycle and why it can be so very different. There's so many planets that will be retrograde, but again, using that same dynamic that Saturn versus a Saturn square Uranus brings to our forefront, this cycle of retrograde, which means we're going to be all the the review, the revise, the rekindling, any of those words will be popping up with all the planets that are retrograde. So when you start to catch yourself going through cycles, or things that you have, situations you found yourself in before, pay attention and engage that authentic self. We've all learned a lot of lessons in the process. What choice can you make in that same instance that keeps repeating over and over and over again? What choice can you make so that the outcome more aligns with 5-dimensional energy and not 3-dimensional energy? I think this retrograde cycle, or season, will be one where there'll be profound knowing and understanding. We have the ability to be faced with a reality that could be systematic. It could have, Mercury retrograde, we're almost done with that. It could be systemic, so something that's not only in this life cycle but other life cycles. It could be patterning that came in with your family cycles. You now have the ability to make a change, to change that direction, to select a different outcome based on the choice that you make relative to the environment that is repeating before your very eyes. I'm certain there will be lots of X's that pop into your sphere of knowing and understanding. How can you react differently to them and to that environment that more closely aligns you with 5-dimensional reality, and in turn makes you happy in the process because you've broken a cycle? You're going to begin, as you go through this process, you'll begin to see how choices have affected your reality, and how just a simple change of direction, a simple choice that you make, can change your situation right now drastically. Things will become more clear as you do that. Your truths will be something that you align with, and your authenticity will rise to the surface, regardless of what's going on with the collective. There could be a lot of chaos around, but remember, you have a choice. Do you want to align with 3-dimensional energy or 5-dimensional energy? That's the question I have for you this week, and I would ponder that over this entire retrograde season. Well, thank you so much. I knew it was going to be a short video today. We've been through a lot. Practice self-care. Make sure that the choices that you are making now do align with your greater good, and always choose love. Love and light are two of the highest vibrations that you yourself can receive, but that you can also cast out for others. Enjoy your week. Namaste.